welcome back to my channel. My name is Julie Ambani, commonly known as Jules. On this channel we love to talk about books, literature development, and a sprinkle of other things here and there. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, please feel free to subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. Let me just tell you really fast, like my hair today was not behaving. Like just to get it slicked back like this for this video has been a 10 minutes affair. I'm really surprised. So I think it's high time that I put my hair back into braids or locks, but like, ooh child, this is not the soft life I think of when I relax my hair. So today I'm just going to be talking about a topic that's really interesting to me, and you've probably seen the title in the video's title. It's about the work culture over there at Netflix, and we obviously know there's a lot that's happening at Netflix right now. There's the whole restructuring, there've been layoffs, they're introducing new concepts. So I'm really not in a position to say whether this is good or bad, because I'm a consumer, and yeah, some of it I may not agree with it, but this video is just to discuss the work culture at Netflix, because I found it to be one of the most interesting work cultures, and I also am curious to know, like, can this work culture like work in Kenya really? So earlier this year I read this book. It's called No Rules Rules, Netflix and the Culture of Reinvention. It's written by Hastings, who is the co-founder and CEO at Netflix, and Erin Meyer, who is from the INSEAD Business School. I really loved reading this book. I remember as I was reading it, I think I was home, or I went home or something like that, and after every few minutes I would be like telling my mom, imagine they do this, imagine they do that, and my mom will just be like, My mom is really supportive even when she doesn't really understand. She just supports me and encourages me. So I just felt like, because I read something about this book on Twitter and it reminded me that, oh yeah, I've read this book and wanted to talk about it. So I decided, let me do this video and we can interact in the comment section. Tell me which parts you find interesting. Tell me which parts you think will work. Tell me which parts you find absurd, but let's go. So I do have my notes here from back when I was reading the book. For those who might not know what Netflix is a global streaming platform. I think the largest, it was the first and I think the largest global streaming platform. Fact check me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is the largest streaming platform. Almost every household nowadays has a Netflix account, or you're sharing with someone else. So it's something that's just been there, and it's nice. Like, Netflix is nice, I won't lie. I enjoy a lot of stuff on Netflix. So yeah, it's that. And one of the fun facts about Netflix is that its work culture is considered one of the most unique work cultures, and has been emulated by so many other big companies like LinkedIn and Apple. So yeah, that shows that maybe they have something good going on there. So there's a way they've structured their company, and I think I had a few pointers when I was reading. Yeah, so I think we'll go through it. So the first interesting thing about the Netflix work culture is their talent density. By this I mean that, according to this book, Reed was describing that when they're looking for people to hire and join the next Netflix family, they look for people with like the best of the best in their field. So for them, what I gathered is that they would rather hire one extremely talented individual than 3 mid-level individuals, and pay that one person like extremely well and have them bring their expertise to the team. This is because they want their team to be full of the best of the best. So the talent density is very, very high. They encourage a highly collaborative environment, a highly motivated environment, and they feel that people who are the best at what they do are more likely to be collaborative and motivated, as opposed to having someone in the team who isn't necessarily the best at what they do and also isn't that motivated to work. So they make sure that their talent is extremely high and extremely motivated. No one is allowed to slack. Like, no one person is slacking in the team. That's what I gathered. And one of the ways that they ensure that this talent density remains very high is that you as an individual, you're allowed to periodically do some, you know, research on what's the market like at the moment, how is someone in my position being paid. And if you find that Netflix is paying you less, you are allowed to go to the, I don't know if it's the HR or finance, whoever is in charge of the payments, and tell them people in my level are now being paid like this, and they will increase your salary to match the market value. This is because they say they never want to lose good talent over payments, over money. Like, that's something they can easily deal with. So they just want to have this, the best of the best in the field. That's what makes Netflix's team, and they want to retain this density. So if you're not the best, or you're not doing your best, you don't have a place in the Netflix environment. And this ties in with the point number 2, which I found to be, I don't know if I like it. At Netflix, there's something called a keeper test, and managers have to apply it periodically. So what this keeper test means is that managers have to analyze their team every once in a while and ask themselves something like, okay, we have Julie here in this team. If she decides to tell me she's resigning today, will I fight to keep her? If the answer is yes, okay, you're safe. If the answer is no, you're fired. Honestly, I found that to be so, I don't know, I get what they mean. I get, like, they want to have the best of the best, but then it also means that there is no job security, because you might be doing your best and you're fired because your manager has applied the keeper test and they've realized that they won't keep you if you tell them that you're going to resign. And the reason that they're making them think they won't keep you, then that's enough reason for them to fire you. Okay, to be fair, yes, you're fired, but you're also given a very good, is it called a severance pack or a retirement pack? Whichever it is, you're given a very good, I think, like many month salaries to keep you stable until you can find your next workplace. But I just, like, was thinking, my God, like, that anxiety of not knowing if you'll stay or you'll be fired at any moment, it's, I don't know, it's for me, I don't want that anxiety. And fun fact about this book, it's written with, yes, Reed is talking and Erin is talking, but there's also a lot of interviews from different people who are currently working at Netflix. So, for example, we have someone here who says, my first months on the job, I was filled with terror that my colleagues will discover I was not worthy of their dream team and I would lose my job. I saw firsthand the quality of my colleagues. I would think, do I really belong here? How long will it take for them to figure out that I'm fake? Every morning I will get into the elevator at 8 a.m. and as I hit the elevator button, it was like a trigger. The air will catch in my chest. I was sure that when the door slid open, my boss will be standing on the other side waiting to fire me. I felt that if I lost my job, I would be losing the most important opportunity of my life. I worked like crazy deep into the night and pushed myself harder than I had ever done before, but the fear continued. Another example here. During my first year at Netflix, I thought every day about whether I will be let go. For 9 months, I didn't unpack my boxes because I was sure the day I unpacked them will be the day I lost my job. It wasn't just me. My colleagues talked constantly about the keeper test. When we were in a cab or having lunch, the #1 topic of conversation was always losing our jobs. Those who had recently been let go, those who we thought would be let go, whether we might be let go. It was only when my boss promoted me to director that I saw how misplaced my fears had been. Yeah, that's examples of the keeper test. Like, yes, I understand that it increases the talent density, but also I just feel like it also increases worry. Why will you be employed in a job in a new place and you've not unpacked your boxes for 9 months? Guys, let me know, what do you think about this keeper test thing? What are your thoughts about it? Because I know me, for myself, I'm already an anxious person, so I don't even want to imagine how much more anxious I will be in such an environment. Another interesting factor about the Netflix work culture is that, honestly, oh my god, honesty and candor is really encouraged. Employees and management are really encouraged to say what they really think in the moment. So feedback is instantaneous. There's no waiting around to give the feedback. You just have to say it as it is. And let me read you something here, something small. So they say that, this is Reed talking in this scenario. I saw that openly voicing opinions and feedback instead of whispering behind another's back reduced the backstabbing and politics and allowed us to be faster. The more people had what they could do better, the better everyone got at their jobs and the better we performed as a company. That was when we coined the expression, only say about someone what you will say to their face. I think in this aspect, I really like that. I like that they create, sorry guys, I think caretaker and someone is talking. Anyway, I like that they create this environment where you can give feedback, and it's not just the managers giving instantaneous feedback to their team, but the team is also giving feedback to the managers. The more you read this book, the more you see that this also comes with its own challenges, because it doesn't want to appear like you're criticizing people, but the feedback has to be given. So people were showing, for example, like how the goods and bads of this, but I mostly felt that it was good, and they created a policy on how you can give the feedback. Sorry guys, it seems the stories that are out there like are really interesting, so I think I'll just continue. I've tried waiting for them to be quiet, but ntakapa the whole day. Anyway, so yeah, I was talking about the feedback. You're not just giving feedback in a malicious way. They have a system intro which you have to use to, like a framework for giving feedback. So if you tell someone, for example, something negative, you can't just tell them something negative that they can't change. So you have to say the negative thing and also say along how they can improve it. And also the feedback is not always negative, it's also positive. So you must also say something positive that someone else has done and how the other team can benefit from it. So and the feedback, you have to be very truthful about it. And I like the part where they say only say to people like things you can also say about someone what you can also say in front of their face. I agree with them about reducing the office politics, because that really wastes a lot of time. But I think with this part of honesty and candor, I really liked it about their work culture. The third and one of the most interesting and controversial, okay, I know point number one was quite controversial, but also this one is very controversial, is that at Netflix, there's unlimited vacation hours. I'm saying this is controversial because this is actually the tweet I saw that gave me the idea to just like now talk about the entire work culture at Netflix. So you know how here in Kenya, for example, most people get 30 days of vacation in their annual calendar. If not 30, then it's around 21. That's the average, 21 to 30 days of vacation from your normal work calendar. At Netflix, there's no such thing. It's unlimited vacation hours. And Reed was saying this was brought about by, I think an employee once mentioned that we are always working online over the weekend or sending emails at different, like not the regular work hours, and no one is ever tracking our work hours and what we are doing extra. So why should there be tracking of our vacation hours? And the team thought about it, and when they decided to introduce this no vacation policy, Reed explains that he was so anxious because some days he would have nightmares that he would walk into the office and find that there's no one, everyone has taken a vacation. So with this, of course, they had to implement some structure to the no vacation policy. For example, if you're a group of engineers, all of you working maybe on the same project, all of you can't go on vacation at the same time so that the work continues. And another thing is that the leaders had to lead by example, because if you tell your team that there's no vacation policy so they can take unlimited vacation hours, and you as the leader are working 24/7, no one in the team is going to take the vacation hours because no one wants to be accused of not working. And also I feel that even me, if I was put in that situation, I will probably end up just taking the 21 normal days that I will get for my vacation, because I'd have fear of my God, am I slacking? Will they just see, hey, this girl, she just loves enjoyment out there having fun, but at work she's not doing her best? So of course that's a lot of concerns that people had, and they introduced this policy, and there was different examples given by Netflix employees about it. So here's what Reed says was happening when they first introduced this policy. If I take 2 weeks off, will my coworkers think I'm a slacker? Is it okay to vacation more than my boss? I get it. For almost a decade, my company offered unlimited vacation time. As we grew to 40 employees, questions like this began lingering beneath the surface. Last spring, my executive team decided that it was time they put the policy up for a vote for all of our employees. When my staff ultimately decided to strike down unlimited vacation in favor of a more finite policy based on tenure, I can't say I was surprised. It's normal for people to have these reservations when you just tell them, you know, when people think something is too good to be true, they won't do it, because there's so many questions like, well, how will it seem like, whatnot. So eventually people wanted the set vacation hours to be brought back and not the unlimited vacation time. So Reed and the leadership team really had to take charge, and a funny thing they said is that the leaders will all go for vacation and come back, and Reed will tell them to talk loudly about the vacations that they've been having so that the team could see, okay, the leaders are taking the vacation, so Sisi, if we don't take, it's us who are losing on not enjoying the unlimited vacation hours. And slowly but surely, more and more people started taking more and more vacation days. And the explanation behind this is that first they wanted to reduce the bureaucracy, the bureaucracy that comes with having to apply for leave, then having to wait for your manager to verify or not verify that you have the day off, especially when it's something simple. For example, if you're a mom and maybe your house house manager, are they called, has left, and you need the day off because you can't leave your children with no one, you won't have to go through the process of asking for permission and whatnot. You'll just inform your leader that I'm not going to be in today, and it's normal. So they first wanted to remove the bureaucracy, then they felt that this would encourage the team to work harder if they knew that they could have some time off. For example, I think there was someone who said that they work for 3 weeks in a month and take 1 week off. So in total, they get like 12 weeks off. Think about that. 12 weeks off of your calendar. My God, I would be ungovernable. Anyway, but the explanation behind it is that for the 3 weeks per month that they work over and beyond. They work 16-hour days. They do everything they have to do because they know they want that 1 week at the end of the month where they won't be working. So it was very controversial because people say, you know, the tweet I saw, people are like, no, that can't be right, blah blah blah. But if you read the reasoning behind it, if you read how they set it up, then for them it's working. And I will genuinely also want unlimited vacation hours. But yeah, that's also, you know, when I was talking to my friend about this, it was also a point of discussion, like, can that really work in Kenya? Will people really deliver if you set them up like this? And one thing, when I was thinking about that discussion I was having with my friend, one thing that came to mind was that, you know, Reed really explained something here. They explained that some of these policies that they have, they don't just come by. You can't apply them to just any other team. So the way I'm saying them is like the steps that they had. You first have to have a team that's high density, highly motivated, highly collaborative. Everyone knows what they're doing and why they're doing it. Like, first, your talent density must be very, very high, because if you have this group of people who know what they're doing and love what they're doing, that's the only way you can now start introducing some of these other things, like the feedback, because the honest feedback is coming from people who know what they're doing and who want to be better at what they're doing, so they're able to do that. You can also introduce the unlimited vacation because you know you trust your team to be able to carry their own weight. He was explaining this just can't be applied to everyone. For example, if your team is not highly motivated, highly collaborative to bring the desired result, and you introduce unlimited vacation hours, my friend, the team will be constantly on vacation hours and no work will be done. I don't know, do you guys think it will work in Kenya? I don't think it would. Maybe in some organizations, yes, but knowing Kenyans, people will be just party after party, partying for 6 months. My final point, because I think this video is becoming long, about the Netflix SOA culture that I really loved is that they don't seek to please the boss. Yep. So you make decisions that you think will work for the company, not decisions that you think your boss will approve or decisions that you think your boss would want. That's how the work culture is. This falls under 2 different sectors. In terms of the leadership team, they're encouraged to lead with context and not with control. They are encouraged to lead with context so that the team knows what is expected of them, and from there the team is left to make the decisions that they think will work for them. And you have to make these decisions yourself because you're the expert who has been brought for that role. You're the best in the market, you're the best in the field, so you've been brought to that role. So you have the opportunity and the responsibility to make the decisions that feel right for you. A good example was, they told the story of how Stranger Things came about. For those of you who have Netflix, you obviously know Stranger Things is, I think, their biggest selling original series. And when the manuscripts were first brought to Netflix, I remember reading something like they were so cautious about it because the lead characters were 8 years, 9 years, and they didn't know if this would reflect, like if the audience will take to such characters, because as per history, that character it doesn't capture like a wide audience because they're kids. So they weren't sure like if they should go ahead with it because the budget was huge for making the Stranger Things series. But whoever was in charge of the manuscripts and approving them said that they had a feeling about it. They just had a feeling, so they decided to make a decision based on them and not what they think the boss or the board or whoever would like. And look, years later, Stranger Things is their biggest hit series. Like, they did something amazing there, and if that person had not made that decision and gone with what people think about these lead characters who are kids, maybe Stranger Things will not even be existing today. So they give you the control and freedom to do what you think is right. Don't seek to please the boss. Don't make decisions to please the boss. Do what you think is right for the company. And they were explaining that sometimes what you think is right for the company is not necessarily always right. Sometimes it might be a flop, but it's a learning experience. I'm saying it might be a flop because one of the other things that Netflix introduced, aside from removing the vacation policies, they removed also other policies like finance policies and stuff. You know, like in normal organizations, there's a finance team and every other department has to come with their budget and the finance has to go through it and say whether they approve or not. And we can all agree it takes a while. For Netflix, there's no such thing. So even you as the person in charge of a project, for example, you're in charge of the financial decisions. If this project is going to cost, let's say you're going to bid for it and it's going to cost, let's say $8 million, it's up to you to decide whether it's worth spending that $8 million or not. Guys, the amount of responsibility that is put on the shoulders of the employees is really crazy. But the good thing is, I feel that the more you trust your team, the more they feel this responsibility, the more they'll use that power well. So in part of me, yes, is scared. Like, I wouldn't, what if I buy this series worth $8 million and it tanks? It doesn't even get good views and whatnot. And a lot of the employees like express their views, but it's just equipping you like to be autonomous. They really are letting you follow the context of the leadership and do what you yourself in that role feel is right. There's a lot of other interesting and weird factors about this Netflix work culture that I think I can't be able to cover it all, but these 4 points I think were like my main ones. Yeah, let me see if I'm forgetting anything. I've talked about the keeper test. I've talked about no decision making approvals need, you just make the decision yourself. I've talked about a circle of feedback, you know, giving the feedback there and then and honestly. I've talked about leading with context and not with control so that people can make decisions that are right for the team and not what they think will please the boss. I've talked about the talent density and paying top of the market. I've talked about a great workplace, having great colleagues. So yeah, that talent density again, the removal of vacation policies. It's a lot, but I now want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this Netflix workplace? For me, I think it genuinely sounds like a very, very good work environment, and having been in a work environment that's not good, right now I'm so lucky because I'm in a very, very good work environment, but having come from a work environment that was not necessarily good, like in the past, different instances, you're left to wonder, like, could they implement this? Where I am right now, I feel like I could see these things being implemented. In fact, I think some of them are kind of implemented where I'm working now. So I'm really grateful. But like, do you guys think this could be fully implemented into our Kenyan companies? Ama mnaona wa Kenya wako tu. Will we really do it? I hope this video was comprehensive. I know I've mentioned a lot of things, but that's essentially what makes the Netflix work culture. And while people are divided about it, and you know, some people say it's not reasonable, there must be something they're doing right if other big companies like LinkedIn and Apple and whatnot are borrowing from them. So yes, there's a lot happening right now at Netflix, but I think their work culture is one to be studied more deeply. So I would recommend you guys to buy this book. If you want to be cheeky, you can buy this book for your manager. If you feel like your workplace needs something, you can gift them this. Indirect hints, y'all. But yeah, let me know what you think about the Netflix work culture, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao!